Hello and welcome everybody to season 3 of the PNSQ Chronicles. This is the best vidcast you are going to see when it comes to the Pacific Northwest Software Quality Conference. Mainly because it's the only vidcast you're going to see when it comes to the Pacific Northwest Software Quality Conference. My name is Michael Larsen and I am your host and blabbermouth today, and I would like to welcome for episode 1, Mr. Paul Grizzaffi. Paul, thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me, Michael. It's always a blast talking to you.
So we're going to be discussing the fact, of course, we have a conference coming up and Paul is one of our keynote speakers, and we'll give him plenty of time to talk about that. But first off, Paul, would you like to introduce yourself, a little bit about who you are, what you do, where you do it, or as much as you can do without government forces coming to take you out?
Fortunately, there are no government forces on this. So my name's Paul Grizzaffi. I'm a senior automation architect with FreedomPay, and that also means I get to work with Mark Tomlinson, a pharmacologist. I've been in the industry for over 30 years now. It seems weird to say that. Master's degree in computer science, started in telecom, did some consulting for a while, and now I'm enjoying being over at FreedomPay doing the automation bit.
Fantastic. Now, I should also mention, of course, that since Paul is one of our keynote speakers for PNSQC 2026, which will be held in Portland, Oregon in October. Want to make sure that we mention that. That is the key thing that's going on here. They are the ones that are paying the bill for this. So, Paul, your talk is, with great judgment comes great responsibility. And I have a good idea where I think this is going to go, but I want to riff for just a second because I know that a lot of people who are currently looking at the workforce right now, looking at the realities out there, looking at what their career is, there is some terror, or anxiety maybe is the better term. Terror might be a little bit hardcore. But is it fair to say that those of us who actually are in a position to judge are probably going to be, I don't want to say safe, nothing's ever safe, but are probably in a better position than those who don't have the option of providing judgment? If your job can be done by an automation script for real, chances are it's going to be. But if your actual judgment is in call or has to be there for you to actually move forward, you are probably safer. And again, I have a feeling that your topic calls into a bit of that, saying you might be safer, but you're going to also be on the hook if something goes down. How good did I do there?
Not bad. It's not the core, but it is a great interpretation of the title and of the abstract. So sadly, you're right and you're wrong. You're right in that the human in the loop, like we talked about a few minutes ago, is going to be very important because ultimately, who is consuming software right now? Completely, or if not most of the time, right? It's a human. You might want to have some human eyes involved in the judgment of your software so that you can make responsible decisions. You see where I'm going with that, right? About its quality and should be released today, tomorrow, next week, next month, next year. What risks are we willing to tolerate and digest, and how do we mitigate those risks? Or can we mitigate those risks? Because again, the unfortunate part here is that people are going to be disproportionately affected. You're already seeing it. Big layoff here, big layoff there. Some people are saying, hey, AI is doing this. Is it AI? Is it a chronic business thing? Is it the economy? There's going to be a blend of all that stuff in there, but you're definitely going to see an over rotation. You're going to see the pendulum swing far too far one direction. And then a bunch of people, a bunch of leaders are going to go, oops, we weren't really right about that when we made that rash decision. And then you'll see the pendulum swing back more toward the middle. I don't think just the way AI has been adopted and is adapting and companies are adapting to it, I don't think we're going to see it go away like a lot of people are saying it's a fad. I think what we have today will go away, but it will evolve into more interesting and hopefully more transparent things. And the reason I say transparent is it's very hard to test something that you can't see into. If you can't control it, you don't know how it works, and you don't know where it's getting its data from, and you don't know how it's making the decisions, it's very difficult to test that. And if it's difficult to test, it's difficult to trust. And if it's difficult to trust, it's very difficult to assign a risk assessment to it other than, I think this software is a little more risky than I'm willing to deal with right now. Or, hey, fire all the cannons. We're ready to go, man. We've got, low cost of change and low cost of failure, so we're good to go. And different companies and different organizations had better be making different decisions about their cost of failure and cost of change and their risk profile. Otherwise, they're going to fall in the bucket of, ah, so and so company doesn't have testers anymore. We don't need any testers. You've heard that before, right?
Yes, indeed.
Well, so and so's doing other stuff with AI. We can do AI. Cool. Are you Google? Raise your hand if you work for Google. Then you have deep pockets, right? But most of us don't work for Google or Microsoft or what have you. The deep pocket, really sort of pushing the envelope people, because our cost of change and cost of failure is far higher. And we don't have the deep pockets to sort of mitigate some of those risks with money.
Makes good sense. So I guess another thing I would look at here is from the judgment perspective and from being the person that's on the hook for this. In this developing age of AI, and with a lot of organizations perhaps leveraging that or wanting to leverage that, what would be your message to your, say, quality professional or, say, quality developer, quality tester, etc.? We realize, of course, quality is a broad range, and not all of us are in test. Not all of us are in development. Some of us are in DevOps or other type of roles. How can we position ourselves so that, again, we are able to take advantage of the responsibility that is going to be thrust upon us?
So the same way we did, or hopefully most of us did, when we started a more broad adoption of test automation. If you didn't at least study it, learn about it, understand what it's good for and what it's not good for, and then apply it judiciously, you probably had a bad time somewhere in your career, right? If you pizzaed when you were, I mean, if you spaghettied when you were supposed to pizza or French fried or whatever it is, but one of those things, you're going to have a bad time. The same thing can happen with AI. If we ignore it or are scared of it, we don't go in and learn about it, we're going to get left behind. You have to at least be able to speak knowledgeably about it, hopefully interact with it and use it where it's appropriate for your job. But if you don't learn about it, then you can't do that. So you have to spend some time doing it. Some companies are going to give people time to do it. Some people are just going to have to do it on their own simply because the company doesn't allow for that in their culture or their ethos. But you have to get used to using it because it's not going to go away. It's just going to evolve. And hopefully people will get a little less giddy about it and a little more sober about it and make good, responsible, conscious choices about what it's good for, what it's not good for that team, organization, or company. And then iterate over that, right? We did some stuff, this stuff worked out, this stuff didn't. Let's keep the stuff that did, and let's figure out how to do the stuff that didn't in some other way or in a better way.
Fantastic. I like it. All right. So, for anybody who wants to see this talk in person, you, of course, can come to Pacific Northwest Software Quality Conference, PNSQC 2026. Details will be, of course, in the show notes for this. And I highly recommend, if you get a chance, buttonhole Paul Grizzaffi at any one of the events. He's a very gregarious, he's a very social guy. By the way, if you are into heavy metal, he will absolutely talk your ear off about it. It's one of the things that we both enjoyed doing very much at these shows because we're both heavy metal enthusiasts. And if you happen to be in that ballpark and area of interest, I can guarantee you Paul will be a very fun person to talk to. Or if you just want to talk something more mundane like software test automation, I suppose that'll work too. Paul, if people want to know more about you or if they want to be able to get in touch with you before the conference and discuss any of these ideas, how can they do that?
You can find me on the Twitter, on LinkedIn, and Blue Sky. I'm on Mastodon too, but I don't go there very often. Or you can hit me right up at my blog, which is responsibleautomation.wordpress.com, and I have all my contact info there if you want to just engage with me outside of this forum, or if you're not going to be able to make it to the conference for one reason or another, love to hear from you.
All right. Well, hey, I want to say thank you very much to you, Paul, for joining
Yeah,
us.
thank you for having me.
And to everybody else who is listening to PNSQ Chronicles, thank you for joining us again for another brand new season. We hope to have some fun talk, fun ideas, and we want to whet your appetite for what we expect to be an excellent conference in October. Thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to talking to you soon. Take care, everybody.